Welcome to the Business Botlight Podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Lisa Apolinski, CEO of Three Dog Right, as my guest. We're going to be learning about her business, her journey to business ownership, best practices that she's learned, as well as challenges that she's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Lisa. It's so great to have you on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Kay.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to learn a little bit about you and share about you with our audience. So feel free to give a quick brief about yourself.
Sure. So I work with authors, speakers, consultants, and small business owners who want to establish or reestablish their authority power so they become the clear, no-brainer go-to in their industry for the problem that they solve. I feel that the most powerful sentence in the English language is, I know a guy, and my clients want to be that guy every single time.
That sounds really cool. Like, I'm really excited to dive into this. And so, how did you get started?
Oh gosh, so I have been doing marketing for 30 years. I remember back in the day when I started that, it was emails and websites were a new thing, and we were still doing mail mergers and direct mail campaigns and calls, crazy stuff like that. And as I worked through Fortune 500s, I didn't realize or recognize at that time that I was actually practicing my authority power even then. I knew I had certain amazing skill sets that people started to understand if that was a problem, Lisa was the go-to. And I don't just mean my colleagues, I mean, getting on the radar of the head of the organization, people on the board, people very high up who are like, "Who's this Lisa girl?" And I was a marketing manager, and I had presidents of companies. They're calling me to talk to me, and I didn't realize then that I had authority. Never recognized it, but I practiced it. In 2012, I decided to go out on my own, and that's a whole origin story. And again, I was practicing authority, and I didn't know that's what it was. I knew I was the go-to, but I went down the lane or the belief that I had to be a full service agency. So I became a full service agency to the Fortune 500s that I had, been previously serving, working for, and had that reputation. And then a couple of years ago, um, I realized that things were changing, and my business shifted into authors, speakers, consultants, and small business owners. But the practice remained the same about understanding my true area of genius. And I blew up my business. I will not mince words. I had a full-on panic attack. I got shingles as a result.
Oh
and
no.
I and I blew up my business. And but it was absolutely the right decision because it forced me to go, okay, if you only had a week left on this planet to work, what do you want to do that, number one, gives you amazing energy and passion and puts your fun meter on high, and something that you know you're good at, something that you're like, oh, if I got my hands on that problem, I could solve it, and having that confidence. And I realized that for me, it was around content. But what does that mean? Content can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. And it took several iterations. And then I was like, oh, I help people to share their area of genius and what they want to be known for and claim that narrative so that they own the discussion in the room even when they're not present in it.
Wow. I'm just taking some notes. That is incredible. So it's really true what like your story shares, where you had to like kind of niche into that purpose,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that genius that you had.
Yeah. And it was not something that I was like, oh yeah, I'll just move. It was like I had several people come up to me, and I'm not joking, speaking at conferences, keynoting, and going, I know that you only work with Fortune 500s, but if I throw a bunch of money at you, would you be willing to work with me? And I had to hear that like 4 times for me to go, oh, huh, that seems a lot easier than trying to reestablish my relationship within these Fortune 500s.
Mhm.
This seems like a much higher target, right? A much easier target. I could certainly fish in the ocean, but I moved to fishing in the bathtub, and there's several fish right there that I can actually see and go, oh yeah, that one. So ended up reducing my stress. I actually got work-life balance back. Who knew, right? As a small business owner. Oh my gosh, you mean I can have my weekends off? Like I don't have to ask permission? How fabulous.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And a golden nugget of this conversation already, because that's where so many entrepreneurs, business owners get stuck. They're thinking
Yeah,
it's almost like we want to be everything to everyone. And really, what's that one thing that we are genius in, and kind of
yeah,
start there.
absolutely, absolutely. And yes, so I live in the world of multiple right answers. And I'm sure some people listening are like, but I'm so good at so many things. And I get that. I thought that too. Well, I can do this and I can do that and I can do that. I can build a website. Do I want to build a website? Does it spark passion and joy in me? Absolutely not. I had to, in a way, because I went niche within a niche. Talk about knowing your lane. It gave me freedom, number one, because now I know clearly who my right fit client is, who would benefit the most from my program, who, once they go through my program, will light the world on fire. And I've actually had a couple of conversations, and I'm like, oh my God, my program, you will rock this. You are meant for this program. This program was created for you. And there's a lot of power and freedom in that. And the second thing is it helped me to not be so, I don't want to say nervous, but like, okay, I have to shift gears and do this. Now I have to shift gears and do that. Now I have to shift gears and, I'm very clear into my content and how I show up now in the digital space. So people know if they're talking to me, they're talking to the authority and authority power. Very easy for them to go, oh, I could use your services, or oh, I know someone who can use your services. So it gives them clarity as well.
Mm, definitely. I like looking at kind of your, I want to dive in a little deeper on your ideal client, because it sounds like you know exactly who your ideal client is. So if I were to say walk into your doors, or see you online, connect with you, how would I know I would be that right fit for you?
So the first thing that my right fit client will say to me when I have my free consult call, and I always do a 30-minute free consult call, and I end up coaching during it, I give a ton of stuff away. The one of the first things that comes out of their mouth is, I've spent all this money on marketing in the past and I've gotten nothing for it.
Hmm.
If I had a dollar for every time, and it's within the first, I don't know, 3 minutes that they're
Hmm.
like, oh, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, and it was just fail, 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 flop, flop, flop. And knowing that that's their struggle, that's the first thing. And the second thing is someone who sees the investment and value in the program that I provide can envision a future where they have much more predictive ROI, right? So it's not this whole horrible roller coaster. It's much more calm because of how they are showing up, the habits that they form, and the way that they are using their content. It's intentionality behind their content. It's no random acts of content and just throwing stuff out in the hopes that it'll work. So that's
Mm.
number one. They want to see that that calmness in their revenue stream. Number two, they want to go into a potentially target rich environment and go, no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes, and go right for the yeses. And because they've already invested in their authority and the way that they show up with their clients online, having those conversations becomes much easier. And they want to be able to sit back and see people show up and say, I saw your stuff, I heard your podcast, I read your book, I saw you on the stage. How do I work with you? Not, well, can you give me a list of your services and how much do they cost? And do you have a no, you want to go right to someone who's like, how do I work with you? How do I work with you? How do I work with you? Because they've
Mhm.
already determined that that program works for them. There's no selling on your side. It's a
Mhm.
conversation to see how you work together, not, well, what's the price point and what am I going to get out of it? Because they can already see it.
Oh, that's genius. That's so genius. And it really shows exactly who you're looking for. And it sounds like they know it too. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
this is what I've been missing. This is the because how many people kind of know what their genius is, but don't know how to talk about it. They
right.
freeze. They freeze.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I had a client yesterday say something to me that I thought was so unfortunately true, that there's a hesitation to spend money to do it right the first time,
mhm,
but there's no hesitation to spend even more money to do it over. So if you're going
mhm,
to choose, do you want to do it right or do you want to do it over? And again, I it really breaks my heart when people say I spent all this money and got nothing out of it. And I think that if they had this foundational understanding of their area of genius, of what they want to be known for, of how they can categorize themselves, how they can create their defining statement, so it's very easy for someone to go, you're what I'm looking for, or a referral partner or a past client to say, oh, you have this problem, I know who to connect you with. That's actually where the power is. It's not necessarily, it definitely is the one-on-one, but think about the person who read your book, who talks to someone else, who then does a referral. Like the ripple effect is just amazingly enormous. And I think if they have those foundational elements, if they do decide, I want to do an email campaign, I want to hire someone to help me with my social media, if I want to hire a videographer, if I need content for the website, they already know their area of genius and how they need to show up, how they need to speak to their clients. And it makes the vendor that much more successful because they have those elements already and they can hand that to the vendor and the vendor goes, oh, that's awesome. To me, it's the difference between telling a vendor that you want a recipe and not giving them any direction, or you want a meal cooked, or handing them the recipe and saying, go buy the ingredients and make this and follow the recipe.
mm. It's just like it just lines it up. It lines it
Yeah,
up in a lot of
absolutely lines it up. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm excited to kind of dive into the how. So are you currently working, like, do you have a team that you work with or are you solopreneuring? How does that look like? What's your structure?
Yeah, so I used to have a team of 15. I got rid of everybody. It's just me. It's lovely. I don't even have a VA. It's insane. If you call, you get me. And I like that. And because it's one-on-one, so when you call and you talk to me, you get me. I'm not gonna, not that you can't hand it off to other people, but for what I do, I want to make sure that you're working with me. I take a certain number of clients every month because again, I want to have that work-life balance. And I want to make sure that for every client I serve, because I'm really serving them, I'm guiding them, and I'm partnering with them, I want to show up fully and completely. And if you go to my website, it's kind of funny. My offering is really, really simple. I have a hero offer, and I love the structure. And anyone who has a small business, if you set it up this way, the operational efficiency of what you do goes through the roof. And this was, and I got to do a shout out. This is through the work I've done with Mark LeBlanc, who's my business coach. And he does something called the Achiever Circle that I absolutely love doing. And I plan on doing it every year. And it's just to level myself up, level myself up, level myself up to achieve exactly the goals that I want. Um, I have a hero offer. It is a 6-week program, and it's one-on-one coaching, and we learn a foundational element and then we apply it in real time. So you get to learn something and then you practice it, which is amazing. And people are like, "Oh my God, I can actually do it." So it's helping them to learn the why behind the how
Mm-hmm.
and then doing the how. And that way, if they want to hire someone else, they can explain the why behind the how and then show them the how. Real
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I only have 2 other programs after that. That's it.
Keeps it
Very
simple.
simple, super simple. I don't, and I hate to sound, you know, I don't know if you experienced this as a coach. I'm sure you did, where you're modifying and modifying and modifying and modifying your proposal because
Mm-hmm.
they want to remove this and then they want to do that. No, my answer is no. This is what you need. This is the investment to get you to your future goal. And if you're like, well, I don't really want this, and then I'm not the person to work with
Mm-hmm.
because I want you to succeed wholly and completely in your journey to success. And I
Definitely.
and I will not cut corners.
Yeah.
That's not something I can do. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes it there. This is the proposal and this is the cost. And I do work with clients on payment schedules. I have no problem doing that, you know, and part of the reason why I do that is as they start the work, I don't want to say instantaneously, but very, very soon after they start the work, they start seeing the needle move. And they're like, oh my God, I talked to this person. Oh my God, I made this connection. Oh my God, I have this potential referral source. And things immediately start to open up for them, which I absolutely love. If they need a little bit of an appetizer taste, and I love making food references, so forgive me.
No, it works for
I could
me.
have been a chef. So if they need a little appetizer taste, they can do my 90-minute dealer's choice. And again, if you're in the service industry, I love this concept of having a smaller taste test for a potential right fit client.
Mm-hmm.
It allows them to see how you work. It allows you to see how coachable they are before you get into a much longer engagement. And I'm sure you've had those where you're like, what did I just sign up for? I'm going to die. So you do the 90 minutes. I do a dealer's choice. So anything, and I mean anything that someone wants to work on, we work on it in those 90 minutes. And I mean, we get to work. You want to come up with a strategy, come up with an email campaign, figure out how to leverage LinkedIn, whatever you need, we do it. And it's jammed packed.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, if you're like, you know what, I want to do your Unleash Your Authority Power program, I just deduct that amount from the program. So you're never out anything. Makes it real easy.
Smart. It's really
Yeah.
smart. Well, I want to dive into kind of more into the business. So, where are you seeing your company go in, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
So I see continued building of this program and leveraging AI as part of my scaling strategy.
Mm,
Um, there's a company that I've connected with, Expert Loop, and especially for people who are business consultants, coaches, the service industry, right, where you're knowledge sharing, and especially with mine because it also revolves around the type of content you're creating and creating content that always has value for your audience. I actually am looking to create an AI agent where they can go through the program and then basically have a mini me at a very low subscription rate where they can continue to hone and finesse their communication skills based on the authority power work and also be using AI to produce it quickly. So it won't be, I hate to say this, but it won't be junky. And I hate saying that because AI is so amazing in so many ways. But I have found, and I'm sure you've found this as well, if you just say, write me a chapter on or write me an article, it's so fluffy and watered down.
mhm. Yes,
Like,
the
right?
more
There's no
direct, the
substance
better.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, so I'm now, if I'm looking for ideas, I say, give me a 5-word sentence. Like I'm real specific now because I want to build up the content around that idea.
Mhm.
If they provide content for me, 9 times out of 10, I'm deleting 90% of it. So I'm still doing a ton of work. And
Yeah.
it just goes on and on and on and on with no real insight.
Mhm.
And with this AI agent, because it be conformed to that individual and their area of genius, it would help them to pull those insights in while still practicing authority power and leveraging AI for it. I'm so stoked to do this. Like this is gonna be amazing. Um, One of my North Stars, one of people that I follow, Mark Schaefer, who's actually a mentor and a friend as well. And I co-authored a book with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
He's creating a Mark bot. So he's doing the same thing where it's hands-on, asking questions, and helping to guide you based on the practices from his blogs, articles, books, interviews. So he's doing the same thing, and I had already, started looking at it and researching it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the right track.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, as you're growing your business, wherever you see yourself going in 3 to 5 years, look at what other influencers or people that you consider North Stars are doing
Yeah,
and
definitely.
see if you can make it your own. You don't have to follow them, it's not like you have to follow a trend, right to the T, but you can take something and go, I like that, but I'd like to do it this way. Again, I live in the world of multiple right answers, so that's the big thing is I think scaling and doing that would be awesome. Um, I have a couple other things that I'm in the process of working on,
Mm.
which I will call you, Kay, and tell you once I've signed on the dotted line. Um, so I have some other things, but that's to me, that's the biggest one. Um,
Mhm.
we're always looking to scale, right? We're always looking to see how we can have passive revenue while still having influence and impact and have stuff not watered down. To me, that would be the biggest thing, to see how you can leverage AI to scale your business.
100%. Well, that is incredible. I'm excited to hear about your growth. And now I'd love to cover what is something that's challenging you right now, from coach to coach. We all need coaching too. So what's something
Oh,
you're kind of going
absolutely.
through? Yeah.
So one of the things that I still struggle with, and I think this will always be my issue, is I have a very hard time turning off my brain
Hmm.
to, spend time with my family, go on, go out, go on vacation. Like I'll go on vacation, and I don't know if you do this, but I'll go on vacation and I'll work 4 hours in the morning. So it's not really going to unplug in a vacation.
Oh,
I
guilty.
will accept, you know, and I don't know. And the thing is, I know that I'm not curing cancer. I'm not transporting organs for donation, right? I'm not doing anything that's really hypercritical. I mean, it's hypercritical for my clients, but it's not like it's life or death urgency.
Yeah.
But I still feel like, and that's also why I had to really niche down and limit the number of clients, because my clients will call me on a Saturday and say, I have a question, or I'm freaking out and I need some guidance. And I take the call because I want to help them, because I stand for their success. So learning how to be okay to set boundaries and just be like, hey, that can wait till Monday, or let me get back to you, or I'll look at this when I'm back in my office. And even though my office is, 30 feet from my bedroom, it's still a space.
Mine's pretty much in my bedroom. Yep. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. And the I think I don't want to say issue, but I think this habit, I'm going to call it a habit, goes from working in Fortune 500s in corporate America and
Mhm.
having this authority. So authority power is great, but it all can also can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because
Mhm.
they know you're the go-to, so they're going to go to you.
Yes. Yes.
And in their mind, it's urgent. And when I worked at Fortune 500s, I would start my day at 6 a.m. answering stuff on my stupid BlackBerry, and it wouldn't end until 8 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
And it was all day, and it was weekends, and it was vacation, and it was, I mean, I can picture being going to Vermont, and my sister was driving, and I had my hotspot on, and I'm working on the laptop while she's driving to handle something. And then we went to dinner, and I'm still working on it. And she's like, can you just put that stupid thing away for 20 minutes to eat? And I'm like, I just got to finish this. And it's a problem. It's a problem. And I think a lot of small business owners struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just going, okay, this can wait. This isn't, I know you think it's urgent, client XYZ, but, you know, I'd like to
Mhm.
not, have my sister drive off and leave me in the restaurant,
I mean,
which
what
she
you're
threatened to
saying,
do.
oh
Yeah.
my God. What you're saying is so true for so many entrepreneurs. It's like at least finding harmony. Like balance is such a good
Yes.
word. I think harmony is a good word. Like sometimes it's going to be in flux one way or the other,
Right.
but to find a harmony of being able to like when you're in those moments of rest that is embraced. I struggle with the very same thing. So
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
well, this has been an amazing conversation. I could talk to you for hours, but now I want to get into our rapid fire Q&A, which is 50
Okay.
questions you answer very top of mind.
Okay. I'm
Uh,
ready. Ah.
uh, question number one is, what is the key to success for you?
The key to success for me is to always show up providing value, whether a client becomes a client in a day or a decade.
Mm, that's great. Beautifully said. And number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Wherever you are in your digital marketing authority power journey, it is like a climb with no summit. Wherever you are, you still have 100% to go. So every day, just get up and keep going.
Very true. Number three is, what is you mentioned a little bit earlier about a book, but it could be a book, a podcast, an article, anything that you've taken in most recently.
Oh, so the last book I read, which I love, is Dan Sullivan's 10x is easier than 2x, which
Mm,
really makes you think about scaling boldly. And if you're going to go for broke. And, and, it's funny. I tell my clients this all the time. It's just as much energy, time, and effort to go after a large client as it is a small one. So go after the large client, push yourself, get a little uncomfortable. And especially if you know, I got to say this, especially if you know the problem that you solve where you are disruptive, transformative, unique, that's that area of genius, which is different than the ERS. Faster, cheaper, better, smarter. No, we we want to go big. And you have an area of genius is the way you solve that problem that is mind-blowing for your clients. When you have that, because it's mind-blowing for your clients, if you're going to pick a tiny client or a bigger client, blow the mind of the bigger client and
honestly, you're
take
so
that money all the way to the bank.
you are so right. That's a great one. I just put that book down on my list, my to read list. And the fourth and final question in our rapid fire is if you could rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
It would be to have a better schedule and even imperfectly execute a schedule where I'm intentionally using my time. I'm very good at intentionally using my communication and my words, and I constantly work on making sure that my schedule is also intentional.
Mm, that is well said. Well, thank you so much for answering our rapid fires. Lisa, before we get to our final question of the day, how can people get connected with you and your business online?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is to connect with me on LinkedIn. I have a crazy network. I actually went through it today for something else I'm doing, and I was like, oh my God, I have like amazing people in my community. I need to reach out to more of these people. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. You can message me on there. Like I said, I always, 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 always do a 30-minute free consult call. No cost, no selling, no kidding. And I love to connect with people and see how I can either provide service, provide connection, provide introduction, um, and just help them move that needle forward. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, please be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. I give away a whole bunch of free stuff, free content, free tips, free everything. Follow me and sign up for the newsletter, and you will be like, oh my God, she gives away a ton of stuff. This is amazing.
Ooh, I'm ready to sign up for that. Thank you. And for our final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
Wow. So I think most inspiring for me is to see my clients take on the world and just light it up. I love seeing that. I love helping them. I love learning their story and helping them with that authority and confidence and influence that they go out and they have crazy goals that they accomplish, that they didn't realize they were their own self-limiting factor, and they make big ass and they go for big fish and they see crazy big results.
That's inspiring to me. And again, for our audience, y'all take a listen to this a few times through. This was such a great conversation. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being on the call today.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.